Today was the first day of Miami Dolphins training camp where the pads came on. And on today's show, we are going to go through the highlights and report from training camp as the pads came on, the physicality took a rise, and there also was some injury news that we got to talk about as well. And that's where we'll start. Barry Jackson had the note about Ashtyn Davis, who left today's practice with an injury. That he walked off the field with a severe limp, barely able to put pressure on his left foot. Several teammates, including Tua Tagovailoa, came over to comfort him. The team brought out the cart, but a severely hobbled Davis walked off on his own. Appeared to be a non-contact injury. And that's the part that is the most concerning to me, because I think when we talk about carts being brought out in training camp, it doesn't really matter because oftentimes the locker room is farther away than usual, and teams just say, like, get off your feet, we'll bring the cart out, even if you just sprained your ankle or rolled it. But this one certainly feels like a significant injury, considering Ashtyn Davis returned to the practice field after being carted off, and he returned with a boot on his foot as well as crutches. So Ashtyn Davis, a player Miami signed in NFL free agency, brutal break for him. We'll wait and see how severe the injury is. But make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you have your notifications turned on, because we're starting to put out 2 videos every single day here on the channel. And when news happens, we cover it. So don't miss any content we put out. Subscribe, click that notification icon, and make sure to turn on to all, not personalized, so you see every single video and live stream that we have. The Davis injury is a brutal one because him and Ifeatu Melifonwu were the 2 free agent signings that we had back in March. And those 2 were projected to be your 2 starters. Now, that was obviously before you acquired Minkah Fitzpatrick from the Steelers in the Jalen Ramsey-Jonnu Smith trade. But Davis was still on track to, I would say, be that secondary safety alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick in the back end. And this room is extremely thin right now. If Ashtyn Davis is out for a long time, which he's probably at minimum going to be out 2 weeks, considering he got carted off the practice field, he was on crutches with a boot. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it's season ending. Like, I don't know. We're going to have to wait to see updates. But right here on Tuesday afternoon, if it was season ending, it wouldn't surprise me. But he's at least out a couple weeks. Melifonwu is still on the non-football injury list, the NFI. Like, thank goodness we have Minkah Fitzpatrick, or our healthy safeties right now would be Patrick McMorris and Elijah Campbell, because Dante Trader Jr. is a little bit banged up as well right now. So what this does is provide opportunity for the 6th-round pick from a year ago and Patrick McMorris to potentially claw his way onto a roster spot. Because right now he was on the outside looking in, but if Ashtyn Davis is hurt for a significant period of time, McMorris can absolutely become that 5th safety that is kept on this Dolphins 53-man roster. It also gives an opportunity for UDFA safety John Saunders Jr., who I'm pretty high on and who has made some plays in training camp, to give himself a chance to make this roster. So we'll see how it plays out in the safety room, but the room is certainly thin. I wouldn't be shocked if Chris Grier and this front office explored adding a veteran, whether it be a Marcus Williams, whether it be a Justin Simmons at that free agent safety spot. We're going to move over to something positive now, and it's about our left tackle, Patrick Paul, because I believe that we have a franchise left tackle on our hands. Patrick Paul has had a big burden placed on him to replace Teron Armstead as a starting left tackle after he retired. Well, I think Paul is getting off to a very hot start in terms of when the pads come on as a full-time starter. Omar Kelly had the note today that after one-on-one in pads for the first time between D tackles, edges, and offensive linemen, he said the top performer was Patrick Paul, who won all but 1 rep. He also noted about some other O-linemen struggling, like Larry Borum. He said James Daniels was good, Savi Inaya was hot and cold, but we're focusing on Patrick Paul right now. So he dominated one-on-one reps, and it continued in the team portions, the 11-on-11s, because Travis Wingfield reported that Patrick Paul stood Bradley Chubb up. Chubb tried to redirect his spin, but couldn't escape the block of Paul, and the confidence on the young left tackle continues to grow with a fantastic first week in training camp. And I don't think Dolphins fans could have asked anything else out of Patrick Paul in the first 7 days of training camp. He's been absolutely dominant in one-on-one situations with pads, without pads, and no one has said really anything poorly about the second-year left tackle. So this is a very big development for this Dolphins football team. Pin comment on today's show. What is your confidence level in the second-year offensive lineman from Houston, Patrick Paul? Scale of 1 to 10, let me know down in the comment section what your thoughts are on the second-year guy. Decimals are allowed. That's what I'm doing, and I'm going with an 8.1. I think that's fair. Like, based off what we've heard and seen from Paul this offseason, he was good in OTAs. He was good in minicamp. He was good so far through the first week of training camp. I'm excited to see how he continues to develop. Miami was proactive, selecting him in the second round in the 2024 draft when offensive tackle wasn't a direct need at the time, but they knew Armstead was likely retiring soon, and they grabbed his replacement. And I said this on a video a couple weeks ago. I'm going to hold firm on this. I said that Patrick Paul is the most important player on this Miami Dolphins offense outside of Tua Tagovailoa because naturally no one is going to be more important than your starting quarterback. But with this offensive line needing to improve from a year ago, you replaced left guard, you replaced right guard, but you lost a top 5 left tackle in Teron Armstead. So even though you improved the interior, if your left tackle sucks, well, you're going to have a below average offensive line. So if Patrick Paul can be an average to above average starter in the National Football League, that is just going to really elevate your ceiling as an offensive unit this year. And I'm excited to see how it comes. Obviously, he struggled last year in his 3 starts. Now he played against some tough teams like the Tennessee Titans, who had a really good defensive line, the Houston Texans, and then late in the year against the New York Jets. But, man, I'm excited to see Patrick Paul in year 2. Let's segue over to the rookies, and I'm going to focus on your 2 picks in the top 40. Jonah Savignaya, the Arizona offensive lineman, pick 37, and then Kenneth Grant, the 13th pick in the first round. Well, Travis Wingfield noted how Kenneth Grant was absolutely dominant today. He was taking dudes for rides in the one-on-one period. He saw him take the second-round pick, Jonah Savignaya, who apparently has been terrific in these one-on-one drills, for a ride as well. Now, he did note, look at this little hype here for Patrick Paul. Nobody's got an inch on him. Pure stonewalling. So you saw the hype we talked about Paul. But Kenneth Grant is allegedly making really big plays in the run game. And his physicality and athleticism is really standing out to me early on here as I'm seeing clips and reports come out from Dolphins training camp. So it feels like Grant is going to be able to make a contribution to this Dolphins football team right away as a rookie. And he's probably going to be starting alongside Zach Sealer on the interior defensive line. But we also got to look at the other side of it because he gave some love to Jonah as someone not easily moved. But Travis said this on Monday, not Tuesday, but I did want to share this quote anyway, that Jonah was able to move Zach Sealer off the ball without pads, want to make that abundantly clear, more than he's ever been able to see someone accomplish in a training camp practice. So we got our second-year left tackle stonewalling veterans like Bradley Chubb. We have our 13th overall pick just moving bodies out of the way consistently. And we got our second-round pick moving our best defensive lineman off his spot better than he's ever seen in the last 4 years. I'm just too excited right now. Like, your young guys need to really develop for you to go from this 25-year playoff win drought to finally getting a win and being a contender. And I don't want to put it on them, but you got to build from the trenches. And it feels like Patrick Paul and Jonah Savignaya are going to team up on the left side of this offensive line, and they could be dominant for years to come if everything pans out. And then we know how Kenneth Grant could really go as well. I'm really excited about these 3 young guys in the trenches that have been drafted in the first and second round over the past 2 years. More to come, but we got to give us some major love to a sponsor here, which is Ethos. And in this day and age, you can't take anything for granted. When you lose someone close to you, you can't help but think about the future. With life insurance through Ethos, your family is protected. Life insurance is a perfect way to make sure you're covered, can help pay the mortgage or your kids' college tuition. And right now, you can get a free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. Life insurance is more affordable than you think. With Ethos, you can get a free quote and customize a rate that fits your budget. The process is 100% online with no medical exam required. Just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. So protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. The link is in the description and comments of today's video. Appreciate Ethos for sponsoring this edition of Dolphins Today. We're going to go to the running back group now because I have consistently said this offseason that you can say the Dolphins running back depth chart is the best position group on the entire roster. I also said edge, wide receiver, and linebacker were probably the other ones in consideration. But with more reports coming out and more highlights and with the pads coming on and more of a focus on the physicality and the trenches in the run game, I think today was a perfect example of how deep and versatile this running back group is. Jaylen Wright had an up and down day, but he's been good through the first week, just not on Tuesday afternoon. But Devon Achane has been a factor in the passing game. Caught a 40-yard pass, might have been a 60-yard touchdown if they finished out the play. Alexander Mattison has been absolutely terrific and had a monstrous day. Barry Jackson noted that he has seen at least 10 explosive runs by Mattison through the first week of Dolphins training camp. So that is something that should get fans excited. He has been executing at a high level in these short yardage situations Miami has practiced early on in training camp. So happy to see that. We've also seen some really nice things from Ollie Gordon. I think Miami's top 4 running backs of Wright, Achane, Mattison, and Gordon are absolutely phenomenal. I think all 4 make the team. Alec Ingold is a 5th running back as a fullback, but this group is going to be really, really good. We also got to talk about a rising star on this Dolphins defense. Willie Gay Jr., the linebacker Miami signed to a 1-year deal in free agency, has been the number one standout for Miami at training camp. Like, without question. When I've been reading through the tea leaves, seeing the clips, seeing the breakdowns, it's without a doubt clear that he has been the biggest surprise for Miami at training camp. And right now, I think he's a starter. Omar Kelly said it. I think we've seen some other Dolphins beat reporters hint at it as well. And with Tyrell Dodson fading a little bit here, and when I say fading, I mean there just hasn't been any positive moments that are really standing out. I can't say if he's been bad or good. I'm not in the building watching these practices, but based off what the reporters are saying and talking about, it doesn't sound like Tyrell Dodson is standing out by any stretch of the imagination. And if he's not standing out, maybe Willie Gay Jr. could ultimately pass him on the depth chart and become that starting linebacker alongside Jordan Brooks, who was absolutely phenomenal last season for Miami. Just a food for thought here. But let me know if you've been seeing some of the reports out there, then you have the information that we're talking about here. Who should start for Miami? Type WG for Willie Gay Jr. And if you think it should be Tyrell Dodson, type those TDs. Other practice notes from Tuesday afternoon. Starting O-line seems to be finalized, folks. James Daniels is participating in team drills, which is a great sign that he is pretty much fully healed from that Achilles injury he suffered last September. And this is your O-line. I thought that they would go with Jonah at right guard in between 2 veterans and then have the veteran James Daniels next to the young man Patrick Paul at left guard. That's not the case. They're going with a youth movement at left tackle, left guard. It's going to be Patrick Paul, Jonah Savinaya, Aaron Brewer at center, James Daniels at right guard. That is where he has had the most success in his career, so I do understand it to that point. And then Austin Jackson at right tackle. Aaron Brewer has not been participating at practice yet, but that is your starting offensive line, assuming no massive injuries occur from now until week 1 against the Colts. Mo Kamara had a couple nice plays today, setting the edge in the run game, recovering a fumble from Jalen Wright. His roster spot's not guaranteed. It's all up for grabs after the top 3 of Chop, Jalen, and Chubb. So Mo Kamara. Jaylen Waddle's been absolutely terrific. Speaking of Chop Robinson, he was in the orange jersey today. Multiple-time orange jersey winner this offseason. I think he's going to have an absolute unbelievable second year. I said it in the office here at Chat Sports. I think Chop Robinson's going to have 12 sacks this year. I mean, that's a hot take, but I don't care. He had 8 last season, and he was a top 5 edge rusher in pressures, win rate in pass rushing situations last year from week 8 to week 17. I think Chop's going to be dominant. And Anthony Weaver, our defensive coordinator, is just absolutely special, man. I mean, some of the exotic blitzes and formations he's able to run and call are just unreal. And I've seen that. We've seen players like Cornell Armstrong get a sack coming off of the edge at corner. Kendall Sheffield doing the same thing. Miami really utilizes their DBs in a way to get after the quarterback. And I just think Anthony Weaver is such a good DC. He was good for Miami last season. Year 2 as a coordinator, I think will be even better. Unfortunately, I think he's so good that he's going to be a head coach next year. Like, I truly do believe, unfortunately, he will not be the defensive coordinator for Miami next year because he'll do such a good job again to where he will get a head coaching job. It's unfortunate, but hey, it means you got someone good for 2025. That'll do it for today's show. Make sure you are subscribed because we're going to continue to bring daily content and 2 videos a day going forward. So subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a piece of news or update we provide through Dolphins training camp.